is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. It is Wednesday, May 13th, 2020, and this is your AEW Dynamite review for tonight. A show that included a major blockbuster announcement with Iron Mike Tyson set to show up at Double or Nothing in Jacksonville to present the TNT Championship to the winner of the match, the finals of the TNT Championship tournament, Lance Archer versus Cody Rhodes. And Cody Rhodes and AEW seemingly gave this gesture to Vince McMahon. I love it. That's a huge announcement for AEW. Unbelievable. We'll go over that tonight on the podcast. Also, major news making the rounds in AEW, something that got started because of Pro Wrestling Sheet and a recent news article that was leaked on their website. Sting, yes, WCW legend, WWE Hall of Famer Sting is no longer under contract with World Wrestling Entertainment, and a tweet here and there going back and forth with Cody Rhodes on Twitter has sparked a potential rumor that Sting could be headed to AEW. Nobody knows if that's a wrestling role or a managerial role or a commissioner-like role on Dynamite. We don't know. But that is also in the news today. On top of the current build, we got one more week to go after tonight for Double or Nothing, man. So we got a lot to get into tonight, and I don't want to waste any of your time. Thank you guys so much for joining me on the podcast. Make sure you hit that thumbs up down below. I would really appreciate it. Helps out the channel immensely. Gets the channel and the video for tonight's podcast in the recommended. Thank you guys so very much for that. If you guys want to listen to me on Spotify and iTunes, it's also available on all major audio platforms as well. So do what you can, please, to help out the podcast on those platforms as well. Hit that subscribe button down below and turn on that bell for all notifications. Definitely do that so you guys are aware when YouTube doesn't want to work that we have videos in the sub boxes. Or that you guys, rather, have videos in the sub boxes. I would really appreciate you guys do that as well. Follow me on Twitter at JDfromNY206. Thank you guys for tweeting live with me tonight during Dynamite on Twitter at JDfromNY206 and on Instagram, same at JDfromNY206. If you guys want to support the podcast via Patreon, you can certainly do that as well. Patreon.com/JDfromNY206. If you guys actually missed any of the content that I uploaded on the channel this past weekend, man, it was absolutely crazy this past weekend. So go and check out all that you might have missed on the channel. We got Money in the Bank stuff. We got Monday Night Raw. Big news coming out of Monday Night Raw. Becky Lynch is pregnant. She relinquished the Monday Night Raw Women's Championship. Asuka is now the Women's Champion. Coming out of Money in the Bank, just gifted her the championship. If you guys want my thoughts on that and what WWE could have done to do something a little bit better on that show and kind of really make it a new beginning in the women's division, come and check that out. A ton of people hit me up saying, JD, that was a great listen. I appreciate you guys very much. If you guys missed any of that stuff, links are down below in the description of this very video. I will be live on the channel tomorrow with NXT. I'll be watching NXT immediately after I finish this podcast tonight. Apparently, there's major news coming out of NXT tonight as well. I know what it is already, so you're not spoiling it for me. So it's going to be up to you guys if you want to spoil it for the rest of everybody in the comment section. I know what it is, and WWE is going old school, is all I will say, and I love it. I love it. I love the way the minds of Triple H and Shawn Michaels and the rest of his team operate. And again, just another exclamation point on why I think Triple H would be perfect to take over that role of the man in charge in WWE. Also, guys, tonight's show is brought to you by my great friends over at The Ridge. Ridge.com/script. You guys are going to use code SCRIPT at checkout for 10% off, man. They just sent me. Let me turn on my camera, man, before we get into the review. Look at this, man. They sent me a forged carbon Ridge wallet, man. This thing is absolutely beautiful. I love it. And I want to thank them for sponsoring the show, man. You guys can get yourself your own Ridge wallet by using code SCRIPT at checkout. We'll talk about them a little bit later. So I want to thank them first and foremost for supporting the podcast and sponsoring the podcast today right here on Off the Script. That's ridge.com/script. Go and get yourself something nice, courtesy of Off the Script. Let's get into the podcast, man. We got a lot to go over on Dynamite tonight, and I got a guest. You guys seen him last week? My boy Jesse, he's back. Hopefully he sounds a little bit better. That was my fault last week. But we'll go over the show tonight, and I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the AEW Dynamite review right here on Off the Script. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me right here on the AEW Dynamite review, right here on Off the Script. Whether you love him or hate him, with all the comments that he got last week, oh, JD, you should do the show by yourself, man. My buddy Jesse is back today because I asked him to come back, so I guess if you guys don't want him here, you could click off the video and go watch some other fucking asshole in the community give you a shit AEW review. What's going on, buddy?
Not much. What do you mean? I love the comment. Everybody loves me. What are you talking about, man?
I don't know.
Crazy?
There was a few bad seeds. There was a few bad seeds in the comments.
No, it's about how you take
I prefer you to do. I prefer you to do this by yourself, man.
Maybe they were talking to me. Think about that. Maybe it's not all about you. Just saying.
So you are the new replacement for me on the show weekly now.
Hey, I heard a certain mutual friend of ours made a comment somewhere in someone's Twitter mentions. I won't even mention his name on this show.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, him and I are cool. But
That's good.
Yeah. Well, we'll just watch him out before you end up like Vanguard 1, all right?
Oh no! That's a tragedy, man. Did you
poor Vanguard 1? He's perished. Vanguard 1 perished tonight.
Did you put a rip graphic up on the show before you started this show, man?
No. Salrex is a heartless motherfucker. He doesn't give a shit about Vanguard 1.
That's bogus, man.
Yeah, I'll talk to him a little later. But Dynamite tonight, we had it's amazing. We got one more week till Double or Nothing. It doesn't even feel like it. It feels like this show just kind of crept up on us out of nowhere. I guess that's what the virus and the pandemic are doing to us. It's like we all lost grasp of time. But tonight was a good show. I didn't like it better than last week's show, clearly, after that really, really great tag team match that we seen last week. But tonight we got Kenny Omega and Matt Hardy versus the, I was going to say LAX, former LAX, Santana and Ortiz of the Inner Circle. We got that in a tag team match to follow the street fight that we got last week. We got Mr. Brodie Lee. Got to show him some respect. Mr. Brodie Lee against Christopher Daniels. He is now the unofficial AEW World Champion for stealing the title last week from Jon Moxley. We got your favorite, Dr. Britt Baker versus Penelope Ford versus Hikaru Shida and Kris Statlander in a four-way. Winner of that faces off against Nyla Rose at the pay-per-view. And my God, man, the greatest of all time, Pineapple Pete versus Chris Jericho tonight. So that was your Dynamite show, man. Let me ask you something, man. That Chris Jericho t-shirt that he wore about, he's got the Pineapple Pete merchandise. He's got to get royalties from that shirt, I believe, right?
Why? Because he wore it? What kind of crap is that, dude? So what if Pineapple Pete wears the Jericho shirt? Does Pete get half?
Oh, so you're on the Pineapple Pete bandwagon now, I see, huh?
Pineapple Pete has paved his way in this industry, and he is where he is because he's earned it. All right?
Pineapple Pete's got to hit the fucking gym. He's got man tits.
Come on. Who doesn't? Let's go.
I guess you're right now with this fucking pandemic going on.
I'm telling you.
Anyway, let's start at the top. We got the TNT Championship. I might as well talk about it now. TNT Championship at Double or Nothing we got Lance Archer versus Cody Rhodes. And my goodness, man, what an announcement tonight. We got Iron Mike Tyson. No news or any new news is going to be revealed until possibly next week on Dynamite. But we got Iron Mike Tyson going to be at Double or Nothing, presenting the TNT Championship to either Cody Rhodes or Lance Archer. How big of a deal is Mike Tyson showing up with All Elite Wrestling to AEW? And did Cody Rhodes give Vince McMahon the stone cold middle finger?
I think it's a big deal to Vince. I think it's a big deal of Vince, and I think that Cody knows it's a big deal of Vince. I think the bigger grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. Believe it or not, Mike Tyson is somewhat relevant these days. He has his own nice podcast. You ever seen this podcast that he does on a weekly basis? I believe it is.
I didn't even know he had a podcast.
Yeah, man, he has some extremely interesting guests on his podcast. You gotta check it out. And but even though he is kind of somewhat relevant these days, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, but Cody knows that it is a big deal to Vince. He knows it. He knows what Mike Tyson means just to Vince, and that's why he needed Mike Tyson on AEW. So for that alone, I kind of like it. It couldn't have cost too much to bring Mike in. Mike loves it. Mike's a player, man. Mike loves kayfabe. Mike loves wrestling. I like Mike Tyson. I didn't like him when he first came into the industry. As he is now as a pop culture icon, I kind of like Mike Tyson now. He kind of knows his role. He kind of knows he's kind of not the brightest and everything else. He knows where he fits in. I saw him working out last week, man. That guy still has the moves, man. He still got it.
What is this move to you? Is this a situation where Cody is, I don't want to say, kind of dipping into the Attitude Era bag, maybe using a big name from that era to maybe get the one-up on WWE and get the one-up on NXT? Is it something to do with that? Maybe he's using Mike Tyson in a way to kind of turn the tides, even though the tides have been predominantly in AEW's corner, using it to turn the tides in this Wednesday night quote-unquote war, which I don't even think it's a war at this stage of the game anymore, using it to turn the tides? Or is it something that Cody is using just out of spite? Like, what is Cody's mentality with this? How does Mike Tyson fit into unveiling a new championship on TNT to the winner of this TNT Championship final?
You think about everything that Cody's done since he started this company. This guy has come out and what did he do? He trashed the throne. That was symbolic. After every show, after every pay-per-view they were doing, All In, all of these shows, we were there. At the end of every show, he comes out and he cuts these heartfelt promos that tugs at the heartstrings of all wrestling fans. And all of these promos had one common denominator, and it is just that he was unhappy where he was, and he's happy about where he is, and he's optimistic about where he's going. Everything about Cody's gimmick up to this point has pretty much been about just sticking it to WWE. When he signed people like Harper, and he's letting Harper run with these. I'm sorry, who I know who Harper is. When he signed Brodie Lee, and now he's got Brodie Lee running with this McMahon gimmick. And any and everything he can find to poke at Triple H, and poke at WWE, and poke at Vince. Anything he can, he will. And he'll do it. And not only that, it pokes at Vince, and it also kind of just elbow and nudges at the smart wrestling fans. That's what they do. They cater to the smart marks, and they kind of flip off their old employer, who they pretty much all hate right now. And I don't hate it. Is it petty? It is. I get all of the complaints everybody's making about how it's petty. Move on. Do something different. We want to see something new. We do, and I get that. And they have plenty of people on the roster that can do just that, can move on and do something new. But this is kind of funny because they have nobody stopping them from saying what they want about a guy who for years make people do what he wants them to do and kind of holds them at bay and uses force and money and power. When Tony's over here letting these guys express themselves. And now that they express themselves, now the fans go, oh, we don't want you to express yourselves that way. Express it in the way that we want you to express yourself. Come on, man. That's stupid. The guy's having fun. I like it. They're having fun poking at a guy whose careers he's just single-handedly just smashed and smothered whenever he felt like it, just because. I mean, I don't have to sit here and list how many times he's done this shit, but so he's done it. So now one person and two people are doing it to Vince, and everybody, upper brass is angry, and the fans, that's petty. Look at this is petty. It is, but come on, man. I'm not saying he should do it because Vince is doing it, but how are you gonna sit here and say that they shouldn't do it?
Listen, you're right. You're right. I agree with you 100% on that. The same thing funny you mentioned that. The same thing that happened with everybody complaining about fucking Brodie Lee. Everybody in WWE, Meltzer reported, they're upset at Brodie Lee. They're not happy about Brodie Lee's Vince-isms. What are you fucking? Are you serious? You fucking embarrassed this guy in front of his colleagues. Fucking didn't even draft him to a goddamn brand when they had the brand split again, or the draft, or the fucking shakeup, whatever the fuck they had. And you kept this guy off TV because he couldn't do his southern accent. You don't want him to go on fucking TV and express himself in the way that he harbored all this anger all these fucking months about the guy that fucking buried his career? I don't really give a shit about Vince McMahon or anybody else in Vince McMahon's camp's feelings, you know? All I know is, in regards to that situation, all I know is if the tides were turned here, you know, Vince would do the same thing to AEW. You know, he would go out there and fucking, you know, hype up or brag about Iron Mike Tyson being back in pro wrestling. We got him on WWE TV. So good for AEW for doing that. And I feel like with Mike Tyson, he's still a relatively big name. The guy's a fucking icon. He's a legend. No matter how old he is, he could still knock you the fuck out. You know, he could still throw a mean right. And this, to me, makes AEW, I don't want to say, you know, the big leagues, but it's the big leagues. He's not going to show up for some fucking rinky-dink independent promotion, you know?
I think it was a bigger stiff and a bigger FU to Vince, bigger than Mike Tyson. I think it was Bret Hart kicking off the company with that AEW title. I think that was a bigger FU than Mike Tyson. Just because of what Bret Hart means to wrestling. He legitimized that title on its inception right away. That title has meaning. Why? Because Bret Hart brought it out here.
Well, you know, speaking of that, Bret Hart, I agree with you there. That was a slap in the face, you know. But Bret does what he wants to do. Bret's a very honest and outspoken individual. So, you know, we all were happy to see Bret. Vince, you know, it is what it is. Again, I wouldn't even give a shit at that point if I'm Bret Hart, because fuck Vince McMahon. But what about these rumors about Sting and Cody Rhodes going back and forth on social media? Ryan Satin noted that although Sting, WWE Hall of Famer, is no longer under WWE contract, it doesn't necessarily mean anything, but his merchandising deal couldn't be worked out. They're not going to be making any Sting t-shirts or Sting action figures. There was speculation this week about Sting being done with the WWE after it was announced on the Major Wrestling Figure podcast that Sting is no longer a part of the Mattel toy line. Rumors were fueled on social media about Sting possibly doing business with AEW after the famous ear cup gif was posted by Cody shortly after tweets from Sting about Lance Archer and Jake the Snake Roberts. Sting obviously was forced to retire from wrestling due to neck issues after that match with Seth Rollins. A one-off match seems unlikely in AEW, but who knows? Who knows? AEW went after Edge. AEW more than likely will be testing the waters with Daniel Bryan when he is a free agent later this summer. What does this mean for Sting? Or at least I hope so in the case of Daniel Bryan. But what does this mean for Sting? If the rumors are true about him coming into AEW, does it mean wrestling? I don't think so personally. But could Cody bring in Sting because he's synonymous with TNT? And obviously, AEW is a take on the old school. They dip into the pool of old school very much so. Sting is the definition of that. And what if Sting, even though I don't think the show needs it, a guy like Steve Borden on AEW television on Wednesday nights for 2 hours, being an authority figure for Dynamite, what do you think about that?
That'd be awesome. I would love to have Sting on AEW. And I'll tell you what, I'm pretty sure he's coming. You don't drop hints and teasers like that without him not coming. He's coming. What I wonder if Steve Borden signed off the rights to the Sting character to Vince. What do you think?
I don't think so. That was one of the reasons why he didn't come to the WWE all those years.
Yeah, but then did he just say screw it and come on over, because what the fuck is he gonna do after this?
That's a good point. I don't think he knew there was going to be an AEW, but I don't know. I don't think so. That's his livelihood. That's his life, and that's who he is. Who the fuck is Steve Borden?
And that's the thing. And so if he goes to AEW, does he have Sting? Can he license all that? Can he sell all those products?
I would think so.
Those masks are gonna be huge.
I know. And a lot of people are going to complain, his AEW dipping into the fucking cookie jar of WWE again, bringing in all WWE talent, But
everybody is WWE talent. WWE is the core of all wrestling on the planet.
But the thing is, dude, I think I seen Moose or someone from TNA say something on social media the other day, and it was really true. One man's garbage is another man's treasure. Look at all the talent that Vince McMahon got rid of. You mean to tell me that, they're not going to have another life in AEW, or some of them are not going to have another life in AEW and a better career for it? Who gives a shit? I mean, if Rusev is out there or the Revival is out there, I mean, you got to be a fucking idiot to not go after those types of guys.
I don't think people think before they make comments, because they'll sit there and complain that there's untapped talent in WWE. Same people, they'll complain that these people are not being misused, being misbooked and everything else. So they'll leave, go to another company. AEW wants to pick them up, and then those same people will say, "Oh, they're just picking up old WWE scraps." You just admitted that these people are talented and being misused. Now they're going somewhere where their talent will be appreciated, where their creative will be appreciated, and you're calling them garbage.
Well, we'll see, man. These are two big rumors in the rumor mill right now. Well, one was confirmed tonight with Mike Tyson, but the Sting rumor is a big one. So we'll see what happens, and anything can happen at Double or Nothing. So it's going to be a must-see show, no question. But as far as Double or Nothing, we got the TNT Championship match set. That is what kicked off Dynamite tonight. Lance Archer came out, and I know you texted me during the show. I love it. It's becoming one of my favorite things easily during anybody's entrance. Some poor schmuck is about to be destroyed when Lance Archer comes out. Some guy literally came flying out of the fucking tunnel. Lance Archer destroyed this guy before he even made his way through the tunnel, and it was a thing of beauty. He beat this guy up. Jake Roberts followed behind, laughing at this guy's carnage. He was walking rather gingerly without a mask. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's old age. Maybe he's doing some extra DDP yoga in his spare time. I don't know. Jake entered the ring, and he was asked to make an apology for last week's antics. The one where he triggered everybody on social media. Oh, how could Jake, mount and make sexual advances towards Brandy Rhodes, man? I didn't find a problem with it, did you?
None whatsoever.
I mean, and then some people were like, oh, Jake shouldn't be handling the snake, and he's stepping on the snake. Why? Because it was a good segment, it was cool, it was better than anything AEW or NXT did last week? You gotta shit all over because they're doing something fun and nostalgic and right? I don't get why they gotta shit on the segment when, if WWE did that, there'd be no problem. Oh my God, WWE is going back to the Attitude Era,
Yeah.
It's ridiculous to see on social media.
Let me ask you, if he shouldn't handle the snake, who should handle the snake? You could tell us, maybe our sisters should handle the snake. What do you think there, buddy?
Their sister? My sister? Our sister? Or everybody's sister on social media? Yeah, all this fucking cretin should handle my fucking snake.
There you go.
Fucking ridiculous. Go back to your fucking basements where you belong, cretins. Anyway, he said he owes Brandy no apology. She could kiss my ass. And we got Jake going on to say that they are writing their own book, their own way. Like it or not, that's just the way it is. He said, I guarantee you this is going to set people off on social media. How could he? Look at this line. He said, women belong in the kitchen, cooking, wiping babies' asses, and occasionally, if it's cold outside, you can keep me warm. Can't wait for Jake to get triggered, or I can't wait for all these cretins on social media to be triggered by Jake's comments. He said he has a woman who visits him, and she makes sure that he's been watching Lance Archer's work because it makes him very excited. I laughed out loud. He smiled, and then Ross was on fire tonight with the jokes. He said he was grossed out, or he made a groan as if he was grossed out. And then we heard a motor revving in the background, and Jake was continuing the promo, and then he eventually stopped. He said, "What the hell is this? What's this noise?" Outside, Cody Rhodes is literally right outside the stage, like right next to the stage. And he's in his Ford F-150, his Black Ops. He then is revving the engine. You got a camera in the dash looking at Cody. And all of a sudden, he drives the vehicle, which I'm assuming he was out there while this promo was happening, revs up the vehicle. He drives it about maybe 10 feet and crashes into a barricade to pretend to make an epic entrance, which looked absolutely ridiculous. And then he gets out of the car, he meets Lance Archer on the stage, and they brawl. And that was it. We had Jake the Snake Roberts saying, take care of him, take care of him. Cody was brawling with Lance Archer. Lance Archer took advantage early on. Cody made a comeback, threw a chair into the ring. Archer swept his legs on the ring apron. Cody then yanked Archer by the ponytail. Archer then elbowed his way out of it. And Archer kicked Cody while he was in the ring, set up for his finisher. Archer obviously did not get the finisher on Cody because that's going to be safe for the pay-per-view. Went for the claw, his other finisher. Cody blocked that. Cody then went for the cutter, but Archer threw him away, and Jake and Lance Archer retreated away from this brawl. Cody yelled back at him, tore off his shirt, wanted to really make it intense, and Archer eventually retreated here. This was good intensity. It was a nice prelude to what we were going to see at the pay-per-view, but man, how silly did Cody Rhodes look for that entrance? Revving the Ford F-150 up only to drive about 10 feet, crash into a fucking barricade, and then make an epic entrance because he's Cody Rhodes. What'd you think?
He revved it up and made a slow speed charge.
I thought he was going to run into the stage.
Dude, he made a slow speed charge, and no, it's not a Ford F-150. He pulled up in a Black Ops Ford F-250.
All right, Mr. Car guy over here. Yes, okay, I apologize.
250, bro. We're talking about almost $100K MSRP. And he just rubbed his brush guard up against the steel railing, all of that stuff. And I guess that was supposed to scare off these guys. I don't know what it was supposed to do. It just kind of looked weird coming in. It didn't make any sense.
So you feel the same way you did last week about Cody and Lance Archer? You feel like this has to go to Cody, right? Now, with the addition of Mike Tyson, I don't see Mike Tyson, a beloved figure, handing the title to Lance Archer, a heel. I assume that Mike Tyson's being brought in to hand the title to a babyface in Cody, right?
Yeah, it pretty much seals it, unless you're going to have Mike do another heel turn like he did on DX.
I don't think so. Well, that would be kind of silly. What is he going to do? Punch Cody in the face after he wins the title?
I hope not.
I don't know. It was, listen, it was, at the end of the night, it was good intensity. The entrance was a little silly. You know, they went over the top without really the need to go over the top. But I'm still loving the Cody and Lance Archer build. And next week, they are billing, we got Jake and Arn Anderson in the ring face-to-face. So you got the two coaches pretty much going face-to-face next week. That should be really great. Because instead of doing what they did this week, next week, like WWE would do, we got the two coaches now going face-to-face. So I doubt Jake is going to get physical, but the promo work between Arn and Jake should be fantastic. So I can't wait to see that.
I'm interested to know what's the purpose of this. Like, why do they have to meet face-to-face?
Well, you got one more week of build.
Okay, what are we doing?
We're going to go over how much Brandy Rhodes needs to be in the kitchen and start cooking meals and wiping babies' asses.
Okay, fair enough.
There you go.
There we go, okay.
So we'll see you next week. It should be good. Moving on, we got the Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, with Marco Stunt versus the best friends, Chuckie T, Trent, and Orange Cassidy on the outside, who was wearing a protective face mask today.
Yes.
So we go with Luchasaurus obviously getting heat on him, beating him down. There was a big vertical suplex on the outside to Luchasaurus, double team suplex, and then the best friends hug. And we get the Okada pan out, as always, with the best friends hugging. Go to commercial break. After the break, we got Trent hitting a swinging DDT off the rope. Luchasaurus rolled to the floor. Orange Cassidy was on the stage, Jesse, and out of nowhere, it was already a gif before it was even a fucking gif, before it even happened. We got Rey Fenix literally coming out of nowhere and hitting a fucking Mortal Kombat-like fatality on Orange Cassidy, a flying kick that I guarantee you Orange Cassidy is fucking still seeing shit after that. Whatever it was, flying kick, drop kick by Rey Fenix. Unfucking believable. Rey Fenix. I'm glad he's back on TV. What was your reaction when you seen Rey Fenix just hit that flying kick on Orange Cassidy?
Phoenix came flying out of Gorilla. I thought he killed him. I thought he was Rey the Superfly Phoenix. I thought he murdered him.
Unbelievable stuff there. I don't know where Pentagon is, but we'll talk about Pentagon in a little bit because I love the continuity here on AEW television. MJF obviously was sitting at ringside with Shawn Spears, so Cassidy got absolutely obliterated. MJF, obviously, with the referee taking care of this shit on the stage here with Rey Fenix and Orange Cassidy. MJF jumped the barricade. He threw Jungle Boy into the ring post because that's his opponent, Double or Nothing. Threw him back into the ring. The ref was obviously distracted, like I said, checking on Orange Cassidy. Taylor then gave Jungle Boy a leaping spike pile driver, which looked fucking brutal. And that was it for the win. Wardlow, this was chaos outside. Wardlow then attacked Marco Stunt at ringside. And then Ross sarcastically said what a big man Wardlow is for attacking little Marco Stunt. Luchasaurus was yelling at Wardlow, but didn't attack him. And then Ross says he wanted to tend to Marco, otherwise he'd be going after Wardlow. This was great. I love this ending. It was chaotic. It was fun. The match was really good, too. I love the fact that this match had meaning, being that the Best Friends are number 2 and the Jurassic Express are in the top 5. I think they were ranked at number 4. And on commentary, they were hyping it up that if Jurassic Express won, they would obviously slide into the top 3 for the tag teams in AEW. I love this because not only are they still building the Death Triangle stuff with the Best Friends that they've built all those weeks ago. I miss Pac and I miss Pentagon. I think those are 2 unbelievable talents that have been off TV. So imagine when they come back how stacked AEW is going to be. They're still building the Death Triangle, the Best Friends. They built MJF and Jungle Boy for the pay-per-view. We still got that little tease between Wardlow and Luchasaurus. So there's a lot going on here. Tony Khan's got it in the back of his mind that he's got all these moving pieces, and they were all up front and center in the last 5 minutes of this match. Some really great stuff here and some really great continuity by AEW.
Absolutely. I think Rey Fenix is wanted for murder, and I think Wardlow is wanted for child abuse. What's going on in this company, man?
And I love the fact that it actually became, even more of a good thing to see because the attack on Marco Stunt led to whatever we were going to see later with MJF. So I love that AEW is taking whatever happened weeks ago on television and they're bringing it back to light. And they're making it a thing on television. Whatever happened 2, 3, 4 weeks ago is still prominent on current day television. Something that Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown should maybe visit every now and then. But I love this. Best Friends win here in 12 minutes. Solid tag team match. And you got all those stories building up over the next couple of weeks going into Double or Nothing. Moxley. I'm sorry?
I'm hold you for a second. A couple of things about Jurassic Express, though. Remember when Jurassic Express first started and everybody complained about Marco and him being in the group and why was he even in this company and how much of a joke he was? Think about how quietly, just how much he feels his role. He's tiny. He draws heat for the heels. He bumps like geez, man, this guy bumps like a class act. And he's getting these heels over. Who doesn't love to see this little guy get the crap beat out of him? It's awesome. He's feeling a nice little role in the company. I think it's awesome.
And you know what else, man? I feel like Marco is doing his job well. You know, he's got a very small ceiling. There's not much you could do with a guy like that. He's not going to be the next Rey Mysterio,
right?
You know, but a guy like that, you know, he is the reason, or one of the reasons. He's not the reason, but he's definitely one of the reasons why AEW wins that 18 to 49 demographic every single week over NXT. You know, the younger audience likes to see a guy like Marco Stunt. He is a guy that's going to resonate with that audience. So that's why he's on TV.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. It's a good move. It's a good move.
Penelope Ford with Kip Sabian. Super lame is what I call him. Her, not so much. I actually like her. Versus Kris Statlander, Britt Baker, and my girl Hikaru Shida. This was a four-way. Undoubtedly, the winner of this match was going to be crowned number one contender for Nyla Rose at Double or Nothing. Man, oh man, this one went 10 minutes, and Kris Statlander almost died in this match 3 different times by landing on her neck a variety of ways. This was overly sloppy. I'm not saying the entire match was sloppy. Britt Baker actually was very good here, but the overall match itself, I love Statlander. I think Hikaru Shida is the best female in all of AEW. Britt Baker's coming along. But man, oh man, this was sloppy, and I feel like the women are trying, especially in this type of environment, trying too much, too fast, and they're trying to overcompensate for a lack of ability to try and put on a flashy match. Flashy doesn't equal good. There's another way to get a fatal four-way to be a good fatal four-way. You don't have to be sloppy and take high risk after high risk after high risk. You don't have to go over the top. But that's exactly what these women did because, you know, we got Baker, who's not there yet. We got Penelope Ford, who's great, but she's still green as grass. And they're obviously overcompensating for a lack of skill. Even Statlander's green still. She's good, but she's not there yet. They're overcompensating for a lack of skill, and I thought this was sloppy. What'd you think?
It was sloppy in spots. Be honest, I wasn't overly let down by this match. I was kind of impressed in a couple of ways. Hikaru Shida is obviously the best wrestler in that ring. I think Kris Statlander has the most the most potential. I think she's gonna be awesome in this company in the future here. Britt Baker, believe it or not, I believe this was the first match I've seen from Britt Baker where I've actually saw in-ring improvement. She didn't look terrible. She didn't look lost. She still moves a little too slow and unsure of herself for me sometimes. And that's in every move she makes. I mean, it seems like she has to slow it down about 3 or 4 ticks for the other wrestlers, and she kind of leaves them hanging, looking kind of like, "Would you come on, Britt?" You know, but you know she has to move at her own pace. But like you said, she'll get there. I'm not gonna shit on Britt too much tonight because it didn't look all bad. I think the division is coming along. I think, like what you just said, they're not sure who to push. They want to push Britt Baker, but she's not there in the ring yet. Shida is there in the ring yet, but she's a charisma vacuum right now. They have to figure something out. They need an influx. They need some help in that division, but they're trying to figure it out.
I feel like this is the best the division has looked or felt. I think in the duration of AEW, another 1 or 2 signings at least for the summer, I think would do them good. If they continue pushing Penelope Ford on TV, hopefully she gets to a point where she could be, a solid, in between thumbs up, middle of the road and thumbs up type of talent. I'm not saying that she doesn't have the potential to be great, but we haven't seen enough of her because she's always sucking face with Kip Sabian. Statlander is great. She's got a great look. She's got a great in-ring presence. She's big. She's athletic. Britt Baker, I mean, I just fail to believe that you're living with Adam Cole and you can't learn from a guy like that. She's got to get to that point. And Hikaru Shida, the intensity is there. She's got a great look, and she speaks very good English for, the language gap. So I'm loving what they're doing so far. I just think that they're trying, like you said, they're trying to push everybody at the same time, and that's not going to happen. They signed a Deonna Purrazzo. They signed a Tessa Blanchard when her contract is up later this year. I think they could make some big moves. You bring in a Sarah Logan maybe if you want to dip into that WWE pool. Taynara Conti's out there if you want to bring in her. They got to do something if they want women's wrestling to be on par with what's going on right now in NXT. But this was okay. I just felt like they tried too much, and it's not really necessary. But we got a Poison Rana that almost botched completely by Penelope Ford on Statlander. She landed right on her neck. Referee went right over to her to see what she was doing and how she was feeling. So Baker threw Statlander into the ring post after that. Shida gave Ford a backbreaker, followed by a running knee to the face for a 3 count, and that was it. Nicely done here by Britt Baker to give Statlander the lockjaw with a protective glove. Now, a lot of people might not be thinking during this spot, but it's sanitary. Nobody's going to be using their regular hand or, their flesh during this spot because of what's going on. So, nice of Britt Baker to have a good match and take proper precaution while administering a gum check, bro. Awesome.
She already did that. You don't watch Dark, do you?
No, I don't watch Dark. Fuck Dark. Okay?
Unbelievable, man. Jeez.
Watch the fucking cretins in the... Yo, JD, she did that on Dark already, man. God. I don't watch Dark. I watch so much wrestling during the week. Forgive me if I miss fucking 1 hour of Dark, okay?
You Jesus have one Christ. Job. Watch wrestling. No.
Now, when I'm not watching wrestling, I'm playing Destiny or Final Fantasy. Blow me.
Come on. What the Jeez.
Anyway, moving on. We got Santana and Ortiz versus Kenny Omega and Broken Matt Hardy. This was a long one. Some good stuff here. I mean, good tag team wrestling. What can I say? It built towards Double or Nothing. It was the Inner Circle versus the Elite again. That's the main story on AEW television. Outside of the world title situation with Moxley and Brodie Lee. But this one went to the Elite. Omega and Hardy win. Hardy looks great. I mentioned on Twitter that he's looked great since coming over from WWE. Since the chains have been, let off Matt Hardy, he's been looking great. Omega, I'm not sure if he's still working injured. He is a absolute monster. He's a workhorse. So he's doing his thing. Hardy tagged in, applied a butterfly submission with leg scissors on Ortiz. Ortiz dropped down. He was about to tap out. Sammy Guevara comes out here in a neck brace, and he's limping out there, and he's selling the injury from last week with the golf cart. Hardy kicked the chair out of his hand. He came down with the chair. Hardy kicked the chair out of his hand and then gave him a twist of fate. Well, I guess it was on the chair, near the chair. I couldn't really see. Guevara rolled out of the ring. Hardy then set up a superplex on Ortiz. Ortiz fought out of it. Omega charged with a V-trigger. Hardy then gave him the twist of fate off the second rope, and that is how the Elite got the win. Some good stuff here. And Omega and Hardy. I guess they announced it on the show tonight. Where is Paige? Because I haven't watched Being the Elite. Tell everybody what's going on with Adam Hangman Page. Why isn't he on TV? Because a lot of people were asking me tonight on Twitter, JD, where's Paige? They're the tag team champions. Where's Adam Page?
You don't watch BTE either.
I missed the last couple of weeks, man. Excuse me.
What the holy hell?
That's why I got you here.
Page is out in the wilderness, and that way he can make sure that he doesn't get coronavirus. And he doesn't infect anyone else.
Oh, so he's being very sanitary towards his colleagues.
Yep. He said that he wants to make sure that he's being safe and everything else, and he's in the woods. Now, he may be going off the deep end a little bit, but that's not the point. The point is, Paige is all right. Paige will be back. Once he gets wind on what happened tonight, we'll take care of it. Don't worry about Paige.
Does this lead to a Paige Omega breakup? Does this aid in the breakup, him being away?
Breakup? What? Nah. I've seen no signs of a breakup between those two.
None?
Nah.
Not even at the last pay-per-view?
What? He was holding the rope open.
Oh, so you're on Adam Page's side.
The guy likes to hang out. The guy likes to have a beer or two. What's the problem, dude? What's the problem?
So do I. I can't wait for my places to open up.
Oh, man. It's coming soon,
wait.
man. Coming soon.
Taz, he interviewed Darby Allin backstage, and this was a second attempt by Taz. Darby Allin backstage, he's still feeling the effects of losing to Cody in the semifinals. Said he feels Darby deserves an apology because of what he said last week. And he kept bringing up, though, that he lost to Cody in the TNT Championship tournament. He then detailed how the match ended, how Cody beat him with a basic move called a tilt. After Darby's flashy moves weren't enough to get the job done, Darby stood and told Taz he knows what a tilt is because back in the day, he finished third in amateur wrestling in Idaho. I didn't know they had amateur wrestling in Idaho, bro. Only Titus's potatoes, I heard, come from Idaho.
Oh, jeez.
Taz said that he didn't know that, but he should have known how to counter, and then Darby said, you know, screw this, and stormed off. So that's that. Darby is in the ladder match, by the way. He's in that Double or Nothing ladder match, number one contender for the World Championship, along with Colt Cabana, Orange Cassidy, and Rey Fenix so far, as the four announced in that match. Already setting up that ladder match to be epic. I don't know if there's going to be a specific rule, Casino Ladder Royale. I don't know what's going to happen with that. If it's going to have the same ruling as the Battle Royals that we seen at Double or Nothing before. Is it going to be all 8 guys in the ring, or are they going to have a randomly drawn number or card? Did they say?
I don't think they know. No.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. I know this, though. I mean, remember when they first launched and they first started profiling Darby Allin and everything else, and they had these nice black and white promo packages and everything else when he's like it's a one camera shot, and you know it looked like he was just all Darby's vision. I mean, those were awesome, man. It was a nice way to to give an insight of the character and have him get his message across in his way. It was beautiful. Like almost every week they had a different little promo, and then tonight they put him in front of a microphone, man, and he just kind of just shattered all of it. I mean, no more of that. No more of that, man. No more interviews. When he talks, put him back in those same promo segments. I mean, the same one camera shot. Let him get his message across. Other than that, put him in the ring. He's gonna kill himself with a microphone in front of him.
Yeah, that's exactly what people say about Ricochet. You know, everybody loves Ricochet. He's the most talented fucking wrestler you can find anywhere. You know, and he gets a microphone in his hand, and people are like, "Holy shit, just fucking get in the ring and just shut up."
Yeah.
You know, nobody wants to see that with Darby. I don't need to see people shitting on Darby on social media. He doesn't deserve that. You know, a lot of people, you might not like AEW, but man, oh man, they made a new superstar in the world of pro wrestling with Darby Allin. It's hard to think otherwise, but I don't think AEW is going to go in the way of WWE and do him any harm. If they know something is not working out, they'll give him lessons or tell him to go get coached by somebody, or they just won't have him speak at all. I think Jesse's right on this. I think we need to start seeing those vignettes where he just is able to be himself, get himself over. Yeah. The less is more with a guy like Darby Allin. He's already over. Don't ruin that.
Yeah.
Moving on here, man. MJF, everybody's favorite heel, with Wardlow versus Lee Johnson. This was 3 minutes. Obviously, MJF won this match here. Tap out. He gets the win. Afterwards, MJF took the microphone and said, Jungle Boy is so excited to face him at Double or Nothing. MJF said he has some ring rust and he feels pretty stiff. He asked Lee, writhing around on the mat, if he agreed. And then he saw that Marco Stunt had an open contract for next week and a match. And he did them both a favor and signed his name on the dotted line. Told him to get ready for a lot of fun. He said he's better than him and he knows it. And MJF will go one-on-one with Marco Stunt next week. And that is why we've seen Wardlow take out Marco Stunt. Or I guess, I mean, he's definitely part of the Jurassic Express. So could have been just based on that situation. But I love the fact that Wardlow kind of took him out early. And then we got the match with MJF and Marco Stunt next week to set MJF up for Jungle Boy. So nice little continuity here. AEW and Tony Khan doing the right thing here, getting you all the pieces in place that make sense for Double or Nothing. MJF, more MJF on television, the better. And he looked great. He looked great on television. No ring rust whatsoever.
Ring rust? MJF?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you, man?
Ring rust. He's been away for a couple of, actually more than a couple weeks, a few weeks.
Didn't he call you an asshole or something at one of the Starcast?
He actually, no, after the Starcast, he heard my All-In. I told this story a couple times. He heard my All-In review, and we had a House of Glory show in the Elks Lodge in Queens. Came up to my commentary table where I was just, writing my notes down, getting my notes together and compiled. Comes over, he says, I heard your AEW or your All-In review before it was AEW. I heard your All-In review. You didn't like my match. And I'm like, no, I thought it should have been on the pre-show, is what I told him. And he's like, he gave me the middle finger.
Yeah,
he gave me the middle finger and then he walked away.
You fucking deserve it.
I guess I deserved it, but it is what I got his wig from last year's Double or Nothing here in my closet. My cat loves it. I should tell him next time I see him.
This guy's gonna murder you, man. You know what I did notice tonight about MJF a little bit though, and I don't know if it was a Tony Khan thing or what, but it seems like they had a little bit of an edict tonight of I'm better than you know it. They put it in the beginning of his intro. He said it a couple of times in the night. I feel like it's coming on a T-shirt soon. It seems like they just put it out there quite a few times.
Well, you know what else they put out there too? They had the commentary team definitely go over and let you know that he is undefeated in AEW. He does have a loss on his record, but it came in a multi-man match where he wasn't pinned. But in singles action, he is undefeated, and Excalibur mentioned tonight. So that's a nice little droplet in the pool there about MJF being undefeated. It's coming sooner rather than later, so he'll be in that world title picture.
I think they're gonna keep that undefeated streak going for a little bit, just so they can mention it more, because you know what it does. And it's little things like this that people won't notice. Now that streak is becoming a thing, every last single match that MJF has going forward, whether it be a jobber or a weird stipulation where somebody could screw him out of the match and he could still lose, every match is important now, because who's gonna be the one to give the most obnoxious asshole on the planet his first loss? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Good.
And it could be a whole slew of guys. We don't know, but I'm loving it. That's how you build credibility, folks. It's very simple, very basic. So I'm loving what we're seeing out of MJF and how AEW is handling MJF. Chris Jericho, and everything that the guy touches turns to gold. Chris Jericho came out wearing a Pineapple Pete official AEW shop merchandise t-shirt. Now, I think this is a shirt. I believe this is a shirt that you could actually buy. I don't know who the fuck's buying Pineapple Pete merchandise, but Pineapple Pete has merchandise because of Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho's wearing his merchandise tonight, and I wonder, like I mentioned, is Chris Jericho getting royalties off of creating the character of Pineapple Pete? Shug D is his actual name, and he got his match tonight, the biggest match of his life, and he gets Judas Effect in 1 minute. Pineapple Pete. Done for by Chris Jericho.
Buried for no reason. It's bullshit.
Was it the wrong finish?
It's how did Jericho win this match? I'm done. Done.
You mean to tell me we didn't get a breakout moment for Pineapple Pete?
It's bullshit. I'm buying my Pineapple Pete shirt as soon as I can, too.
I'm sure you will.
I am.
You do that, and I'll buy you a Britt Baker t-shirt. You gotta get that Britt merchandise, man.
I don't think
the doctor will see you now.
Pineapple Pete is the top merch seller in AEW, man.
With who? Pineapple Pete?
Pineapple Pete's the top merch seller in AEW. Man,
this guy's a fucking loser, dude. Pineapple Pete. Hit the gym, you fucking bum.
Dude,
Pineapple Pete. Listen, I got nothing against Pineapple Pete, bro. I thought it was hilarious. It just goes to show you that Jericho, he actually said it on social media. He's probably drunk when he said it. He's like, I'm just going to stay here right now. I'm the greatest wrestler on the planet. He might very well be. Everything the guy does and says turns to legitimate fucking gold. Everything.
Watch this. Watch the merch sales for Pineapple Pete over the next month. I bet it's Sky. I bet he's in the top 3. Watch. Pineapple Pete.
I would not doubt that at all.
Watch. Yes, he's over.
So Jericho, speaking about Pineapple Pete, said now that the threat of Pineapple Pete is over, and he's been vanquished, He asked if the Elite was even a thing anymore. He said he heard Hangman Page quit the business and is, there you go, bushwhacking in the forests of North Carolina picking berries. He said Matt and Nick Jackson are sitting at home pouting about how unfair the Inner Circle are. Jericho told the Elite he'll give them another chance to get your shit together. He then said the Inner Circle is writing history while the world sits back, and that's why we created the Stadium Stampede match. He said it's a fight in the middle of a 70,000-seat football stadium. He challenged them to the first ever Stadium Stampede match at Double or Nothing, which is an immediate buy for the pay-per-view for me. I mean, that's just going to be an unbelievable visual. And Tony Khan, you know, again, you got to give him credit. He's going out there and really making, even now, the shows and the matches and the build mean something. We're not going to get blood and guts yet. It's still going to happen. But we're getting a fucking empty arena or an empty stadium stampede match with 70,000 empty seats. I mean, that's fucking brilliant. He said they'll stand there together and they'll all wait for the Elite's response because they've got all night and nowhere to go. Suddenly, Vanguard 1 flies in and he's got a t-shirt hanging from, I guess, his lower portion on a hook. And it's the same shirt that Jericho had given him. So Vanguard is there, and Jericho says, Vanguard, you have a lot of guts showing up here after last time. He took his shirt back. He asked if the Elite accepts the challenge, and then we see Vanguard 1 on his screen saying, we accept. And Jericho smiled and said the answer is yes. Jericho then asked Vanguard if he thought more about their invitation to join the Inner Circle. Vanguard just, I guess, flew there and didn't answer. And Jericho said, you know what? It's too little too late, and I've rescinded my offer. So he said, I already have a new member to the Inner Circle, and his name is Floyd. And now we have Floyd, the metal baseball bat, as the sixth member of the Inner Circle. So he then took Floyd. I guess this is his version of Negan now. Now Jericho is all of a sudden Negan from The Walking Dead. And he absolutely treated Vanguard 1 like Glenn from The Walking Dead in Season 7, Episode 1. Fucking destroyed Vanguard 1. Vanguard 1 has perished, and Shivani said Jericho's lost his mind. Guevara then took the bat, and I guess his neck was okay because he was swinging for the fucking fences here. The Inner Circle surrounded it, started yelling at the broken pieces of Vanguard 1. Matt Hardy came from the back. He was sad. He was distraught. He picked up the pieces of Vanguard 1, and obviously the Inner Circle bailed, and Excalibur said he is now inconsolable as the Inner Circle was laughing at the destruction of Vanguard 1. This was absolutely fantastic. I find nothing better on wrestling TV right now than Jericho yelling at a fucking drone. And then Negan, all of a sudden, recreated in the version of Chris Jericho or in the mind of Chris Jericho. Goodbye, Vanguard 1. It's all over. It's all over. What do you think?
How can you say that? This was fantastic. We had a death on television.
What? This was good stuff.
It doesn't look. I don't think Vanguard's gonna recover from this. I think I saw the referee put up the fucking X, man. I mean, it was over. I mean, I don't think he's gonna.
How much does the drone like that go for? It got to be at least $1,500 easy, right?
Can't put a dollar value on life, JD. What the hell?
Well, Tony Khan, I'm sure, has Vanguard's cousin waiting in the wings, so.
Probably upgraded version.
Yeah, the upgraded 2020 version. This was great. He may show himself at Double or Nothing. You know, Matt Hardy's going to need somebody to surveil 70,000 seats, right?
Yeah. Well, think about it. I mean, Vanguard's been around for a while. Matt Hardy has that creative mind. He has to come up with new characters. He had to kill Vanguard.
He didn't have to kill Vanguard.
He got to go, man.
Apparently, to keep the storyline going, Vanguard had to perish. So I'm sure we'll see the rebirth of Vanguard. Vanguard will live. If we can bring back... who the fuck was that? If we can bring back, what's his name?
Lucille.
Rambling Rabbit every fucking week. Vanguard could come back, right?
Oh, Rambling Rabbit. I mean, geez, man. That guy comes back more than Kenny from South Park.
Jesus Christ. Vanguard will be back. And I can't wait to see this empty arena match, this Stampede match. Should be awesome. 70,000 seats. Should be a great visual at Double or Nothing. We move on here with the announcement of Iron Mike Tyson. That is going to be at Double or Nothing, presenting Cody or Lance Archer, the TNT Championship. And then they hype next week's show, which will feature Moxley versus number 10 of the Dark Order. The really, really good-looking number 10. He's really fucking physically fit. I don't know who the fuck he is, but Moxley might have a tough time with number 10 next week. And then we got Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara. And then more information on Mike Tyson showing up at Double or Nothing. So it should be a good show next week, as always. In the main event, we got Brodie Lee, or Mr. Brodie Lee. I'm sorry for disrespecting you. Mr. Brodie Lee versus Christopher Daniels in the main event of Dynamite. This one went 13 minutes, and Daniels took a beating. We go to commercial break. Brodie was beating down Daniels. Daniels made a small comeback, very futile, and landed an Angel's Wings. Brodie kicked out at 1. Brodie sat up and smiled. Daniels landed his best moonsault ever for a 2 count. Brodie, obviously, he stood all of that and eventually won after a wicked lariat. 13 minutes, and that was it. After the match was over, Brodie showed off the AEW title belt that he stole from Jon Moxley. Moxley came out afterwards and chased Lee off with number 10. He took care of the 2 goons that were there, the 2 no-names in the mask, and Moxley gave them the DDT, and that was it. And he took the microphone and said, before his AEW career even starts, it will end, and he will pay for this mistake, and he will pay with interest. When the dust settles, Lee might find his AEW career is over before he started. The match itself really didn't matter. It was all about Moxley and Brodie Lee. I mean, it was very simple. It was very basic. It was good. You really can't really shit on it. It was just wrestling 101, simple booking.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Why is 6 scared of 7?
Why is 6 scared of, what is it, Sesame Street?
Yeah.
Why is 6 scared of 7? I don't know.
Because 7, 8, 9. But 10 stole the title. But 10 stole the title, not Jericho. Keep that in mind. 10 has the title, making next week's match 10 versus Moxley for the AEW Championship. Think about that.
I guess you could look at it that way, but all
right.
How do you feel after discussing this last week with Lee and Moxley? Do you still feel the same way about them booking themselves in a corner, or do you feel like Brodie Lee has his first loss in AEW coming?
Well, he has his first loss coming, and that's gonna come. I mean, I think that's why they're trying to get some more wins under his belt, trying to make him look a little bit bigger because he has to take an L. He just has to. Moxley has to keep trucking along. He's the face of the company right now. I'm pretty convinced that Moxley stays champion until MJF.
I'm looking forward to it. I love what they did together when they were in the Shield and the Wyatt family, respectively. It should be a good match. And I'm loving how Double or Nothing has shaped up, man. I know it's not the same as it would be if we were in a normal situation. But, man, Double or Nothing, WWE put no effort really into Money in the Bank. They sold it on a cinematic match that ended up turning into a comedy match. And I'm loving that AEW hasn't kind of strayed away from the seriousness of Double or Nothing. This is their marquee show. This was one of the best wrestling shows all year last year, and this is going to mark Moxley's one-year debut with the company. I'm glad AEW didn't really half-ass this build. They're going into it just as hard as they would if they were in front of a real crowd, a full crowd, and you got to give it to them. It's shaping up to be a must-see show.
Yeah, it does. It does look like that they're finally starting to get this card to come together a little bit more. I can see the problems they're having as far as travel restrictions, venue issues, the whole 9 yards. So I can see how it'd be kind of hard to get the build to a pay-per-view going. All in all, they're doing a great job. I'm like you. I want to see Pac. I want to see this. I want to see that. But again, I understand why we can't get what we want to get right now. And on a serious note, I think we should all just be a little bit patient. I think the times are coming. I'm not even convinced that we don't see some fans in that football stadium. Big open area. How lax or how much Georgia's trying to open up. Maybe they might try to set a precedence, get everybody spaced out. You're not going to fill the football stadium, obviously, but that much space, you can show some social distancing on camera. Maybe that'll help convince people to try to open up this way. See, everybody's being safe but apart. Maybe. We'll see. But they got a lot of space to work with and a few weeks to work with, and the country is trying to open up in parts. Maybe we'll see some fans. Who knows?
I hope so, man. I think AEW is going to do right by this. I think Double or Nothing is going to be a must-see show, and I think they're going to do what WWE has refused to do, and they're going to really treat it like a big spectacle in the confines of what they can do currently with the restrictions in place. So it's going to be interesting to see, and I want to thank you for being here as always, and I want to thank my sponsor, The Ridge, for sponsoring the show tonight. Guys, they sent me a forged carbon Ridge wallet. Absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to start using this when I go out this summer. And if you guys want to get yourself one of these, man, it's easy to do. Ridge.com/script. Use code SCRIPT at checkout. You guys are going to get free shipping, free returns. If you don't like it, there's a lifetime guarantee. 30,000 five-star reviews. It's great, man. RFID blocking qualities. Your cards and your ID are safe. It doesn't bend. It doesn't fold. It doesn't scratch. This thing will outlive you, is what they say. So thank you guys so much for listening to the show, and I want to thank The Ridge for sponsoring the podcast. I will be live tomorrow afternoon with NXT. Apparently, it was a lackluster show from what I read on social media, but there was a major announcement, which I'm not sure if you know, Jesse, yet, but I won't spoil it here. But they are reprising something very old school in NXT. That's all I'll say.
You know I avoid all spoilers for NXT.
I know.
Last time you spoiled it on this show, I was furious.
I know. I apologize for that. I think I just wanted to get people ruffled there, but I ended up being a dick in the end. But we'll talk about the announcement for NXT tomorrow afternoon. It should be good. And apparently, I think Finn Balor had his culprit, or the culprit that attacked Finn Balor was revealed tonight as well. So again, we'll talk about that on the show tomorrow. I'll be live on YouTube for an hour. I might be with Ticket Drew, or I might be by myself. I have no idea yet. I'm sure you guys don't give a shit about Ticket Drew being there or not. Either way, you get me. You always get me 100%, no matter what, no matter who's here. But I want to thank
Ticket Drew.
Say again?
Shout out to Ticket Drew.
Oh, there you go. Say Jesse approves the Ticket Drew. You guys got to do the same. And it's on a WWE show. Anyway.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Anyway, guys, we're getting out of here. Thank you so much for listening in. If you reached the end of the podcast, please hit that thumbs up. If you didn't reach the end of the podcast, hit the thumbs up anyway. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. Patreon.com/JDfromNY206. And if you missed any of my other content, Monday Night Raw Review is at 40,000 views right now. We talk about the pregnancy of Becky Lynch and what WWE could have done better with the Women's Championship. And we talk about the brand-to-brand invitational and how that is going to come back and just make WWE television even more unbearable. So go and check all that stuff out, and I'll be right back here on Thursday with NXT. Jesse, thank you again for joining me, and I will talk to you, because I'm going to watch NXT. I'll talk to you in a little bit, and I'll see you guys on the podcast tomorrow afternoon, and we will see you all later. Thank you guys for watching.
Take it easy.